All right, we're heading into President's Day, so more on smart car shopping. Yesterday we talked to Jerry Cronenberg of the Herald about what to look for out there, what sort of deals you can see this weekend. Today we're going to look at the legal side of things, the nuts and bolts of that, with our attorney, Gina Ghioldi. She joins us once again. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
All right, where do we begin? What do we need to know?
Well, with President's Day coming up, make sure that you look at those ads very carefully and make sure that you realize that if you're thinking about leasing a car, a lot of times those rebates and the money off doesn't apply to a lease. So when you're actually there at the dealership and you're thinking seriously about a car, make sure you check the contract and make sure the ad that you saw correlates to the deal you're about to cut.
All right, so read everything very carefully. All right, what else?
Well, also remember that you're signing legal contracts, so make sure that you understand everything in those contracts. And one of the big things you want to do too is familiarize yourself with your state's lemon laws. Just about every state has a lemon law.
Right.
And here in Massachusetts, of course, it's the law that protects consumers when they purchase or lease new cars for personal use.
And it protects against cars that have serious flaws, which are considered what?
Well, it's the flaws or defects that cause a serious impairment with either your use of the car or the market value of the car or the safety of the car.
But if you detect one of these, you can't just automatically turn it back in and get your money back. You have to give them a couple of chances to fix it.
That's right. Every state's a little bit different, but generally, and here in Massachusetts, 3 tries. The dealership or the manufacturer gets 3 shots at going and fixing whatever the defect is, or if it takes 15 business days, however many defects you have the right to go back and request either a refund or an exchange.
Wait, 15 business days from the time of purchase?
From the day of delivery. Everything counts from the day of delivery.
So is that separate from giving them 3 shots to fix it? You can actually turn it back in?
One or the other. Absolutely. It's one or the other. So it's 3 shots to fix it per defect, or 15 days total, 15 business days, that you don't have use of your vehicle. You can go back and you can challenge them under the lemon law.
Okay. Now, something everybody wants to know about after the leases became so popular, 10 years ago. Buy or lease, which one?
Well, it depends on what your use is going to be, and it's more than a legal issue, it's really a financial issue. But if you are going to consider leasing a car, make sure you read that lease agreement very, very carefully.
Yeah, they take a pretty big ding out of your wallet if you turn it in early.
Well, ding, there's 2 things we want to talk about. Early termination is something, sure, we all get hit on if we have to turn in the car early, but what a lot of people don't realize is that actually if you get in an accident or if your car is stolen, that's an early termination. So when you're signing up for that lease, make sure you check carefully and make sure you're protected if that happens, or go and talk to your car insurance agent and they can give you gap insurance.
And you also need to pay pretty close attention of the condition you're keeping your car during the term of the lease. I mean, they do allow for normal wear and tear, but sometimes your definition of normal wear and tear and theirs isn't always
can
the
be
same.
very different. That's right. So you want to make sure that you define that right in the lease agreement. Don't be afraid to ask, and don't be pressured into signing an agreement. Make sure that you ask questions. If you need to sleep on it, sleep on it. But make sure that you define what normal wear and tear is so you're not surprised at the end of that lease.
What about when your lease is up, you love the car, and you can buy it? Because when you sit down to do the lease, they do set a price, I believe, at the time that you can buy it at the end, correct?
Usually they do. What you want to make sure is you leave yourself the option to to buy the car at the end of the lease, but you don't want to be committed to doing that because how do you know if you're going to like that car by the end of the lease term? So you want a close-ended lease with an option to purchase. Look carefully, and a lot of times they will assign a value, and you can decide at the end of the lease if you want to buy it or not.
And something else, everybody gets so excited during these President's Day sales because they have great commercials, they have great flyers, they have very sexy and attractive offers, but don't be forced into doing it this weekend just because of all the hype.
No, enjoy the hype,
time.
Test drive it, but sit back and make sure you're making the right decision.
All right, Gina Ghioldi, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the good advice. Happy car shopping. You can see this interview again and all the day's news. Go to our website, NECN.com, or you can go to the NECN pages of Boston.com, the online home of the Boston Globe.
Now.